Jason Rzucidlo reporting for AmericaJR.com. I'm here at the 10th Annual Detroit Science Center Gala. There's a lot of exciting things going on here tonight. And coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to hear some remarks from Mr. Jack Roush, the CEO of Roush Fenway Racing.
Nice touch. I wish I had said that. That was great. Tonight's theme is about engineers in motorsports, and our next speaker represents nearly 40 years of winning both on and off the track. Much like many of the visitors who come to the Detroit Science Center every day, Jack Roush has always been interested in finding out what makes things tick. After receiving a degree in mathematics with a minor in physics, he moved to Detroit in 1964 to work with the Ford Motor Company. And while there, Roush was drawn to the company's extensive motorsports activities, and his illustrious career in motorsports began. Since that time, he's gone on to win 32 championships and more than 400 races in drag racing, sports car, and stock car racing. He's so used to winning that with these checkered flag napkins, every time anybody wiped their mouth at our table, he got up and expected to get a trophy. Roush is one of the professional sports premier owners, one of the most successful owners in NASCAR history. Today, Roush Fenway Racing has won 5 championships across NASCAR's 3 Premier Series, captured his 100th Sprint Cup victory in 2007. In 2009, Roush claimed his first Daytona 500 trophy and his 2,500th Sprint Cup start. Jack Roush and Roush Fenway Racing achieved 2 significant milestones in 2010, their 400th victory and their 1 millionth mile of NASCAR Sprint Cup racing. In addition to his racing ventures, though, he heads up Roush Enterprises, which employs more than 2,300 people, many of them right here in Southeast Michigan. It developed a very significant role providing engineering and manufacturing services in fields like transportation, defense, life sciences, and consumer product industries. We are so thrilled to have him tonight. Please join me in welcoming Jack Roush.
Thank you, Devin, and thanks to Francois and to Kevin for the things they've shown me tonight. I'm really impressed. We'll be back here with our family and show them what you're up to. It's really impressive what Francois has done here with his retirement. I'm wondering what I would do if I ever retire, and I don't think I could find a program or an effort that was more needed and more desirable and more to be respected than what Francois has done. My congratulations to everybody involved with the Detroit Science Center for their efforts to raise the awareness of math, science, technology, and engineering and today's young people. Thanks also to my old employer, Chrysler Corporation. I mentioned that to a couple of people. Howard Comstock's here. He knows that I worked for Chrysler for a period of time, but Chrysler has done an invaluable made an invaluable effort to lead the funding initiatives here under Francois' encouragement, and that's to be respected and appreciated by all. I'm here tonight to talk about technology and racing, which includes my present-day challenge in NASCAR. I've been in NASCAR for 24 years now. Next year will be my quarter century. But before I do that, I'd like to give you some information about myself to frame my comments. Devin covered some of the high points, but I enjoyed a college education rich in math and science before joining the workforce in 1964. Right out of school, I worked for Ford for a number of years, and then Chrysler in process engineering and then advanced development engineering, respectively. I started drag racing nationally in 1966. Mostly out of the dumpsters of the things that were cast off by the by the race car and the production car engineers. But I continued to operate my own race cars and to assist my customers with theirs until 1979. I figured very early that you needed to generate an income stream to be able to pay for your habit here. By 1970, I had assembled considerable support capability for my drag racing. The capability included an engine dynamometer, a machine shop, a paint shop, a metal fabricating and welding shop, and a composite shop. At the same time I was assembling these capabilities with excess capacity, the car companies in Detroit, the big three, came to the realization that they had engineering, the size of their engineering staffs was so great. In fact, it was so great that they could redesign, and this came out of the 50s and the 60s, the competition that they had. They could redesign every body for every model with a new engine every year. And as the foreign competition started, and we started looking at the products that came in initially that were not of very good quality, and they didn't have good performance numbers, they felt the pressure. They felt the pressure for price, and they says, you know, what we need to do is staff ourselves correctly for the normal, and then when we do need to make a new model, we do need to make a new engine, we'll outsource some of the things that are less important to us, and so that we can have our costs for the overhead to be less. We were at the right place at a great time to become a supplier to Detroit's automotive companies for a portion of their newly defined engineering and product development needs. First came American Motors. American Motors, as they were in the death throes of their competition, they were faced with having just an inline six-cylinder engine. And they wanted to put multiple carburetors on it and dual exhaust. We helped American Motors with that. Unfortunately, it was not enough to keep them alive. Ford came along, and they were interested in fuel economy, and they wanted to reduce the size of their engines and bring turbochargers. At the same time, they were developing their catalytic converters for emissions. We had done a lot of work for Ford, and Chrysler decided at one point that they needed to convert some of their rear-wheel drive platforms, powertrain platforms, to front-wheel drives, which of course is prominent, the majority of what the car models are coming out of Detroit today. We built a lot of mechanical prototypes with that. With Chrysler in particular, since Chrysler's to be highlighted here, I'll mention a couple of other things. We helped Chrysler do the first V10s for their pickup trucks and for the Viper. We did furnace welding and built crankshafts and various other things to build those early engines. We also put the first Cummins diesel in a pickup truck. Boy, what a disaster that was. That thing was an industrial engine that had all the noise that you didn't have to be concerned about when you had a power plant out in the middle of the field or an industrial piece of equipment that was moving dirt. But for a pickup truck, for Chrysler standards, there was a lot to be done. And that was just our start. Over the past 45 years, Roush Industries has grown to a staff of more, I'm told 3,000. And I don't pass out the paychecks anymore, but I'm told that it's over 3,000 today. Somebody's doing something with all the money. I don't know what they're doing. Devin, you have to clue me in on this later, because Devin gave me a different number. I don't know where he got that. But we're recognized as a significant contributor to the body, chassis, and powertrain engineering efforts, not only Big Three, but unfortunately for a number of the other worldwide automobile manufacturers. Roush Industries also has become a valuable source of timely technical information for our ongoing in-house racing teams. The majority of our staff engineers and technicians as youngsters, like myself, pursued math and science in school. Roush Industries' diversification over the decades has spilled into other segments of our national economy, which includes satisfying heavy truck transportation requirements, amusement park rides like the Harry Potter ride, development and manufacturing, we made those. We've got two other rides going on, one for Disney and one for another amusement park at the same time now. We do pharmaceutical companies' lab tools. We do development and manufacturing there. For the pest department, we manufacture a number of equipment and